Very much. Yeah. All right. So, the question that occurs to the intelligent reader is very obvious. Medrash zeh tamur l'chora. This medrash is very surprising. Shekein hageula b'Mitzrayim lo muzkeres klal b'Parshas Shmot. The actual going out, the actual geula from Mitzrayim is not mentioned at all in Shmot. The Parsha Shmot deals only with the Golas, and on the contrary, how the Golas gets progressively worse and unpleasant. Yeah, v'loil b'Parsha Shalachreya, also not in Parsha Va'era, only b'Parsha Boi, only another 2 or 3 weeks later do we mention the actual Geula from Mitzrayim. Of Amela, ve'im kein madua mitzayenes ha'Torah es shmois hashvotim shekishurim legeula. Let's say that their names are kishurim with the Geula. That's even more than kishurim. Like we said, the Medrash says that they're al shem inyan ha'Geula. Their names are like that because they're referring to the Geula. Kan, why do we mention here in Shmois when there was no Geula? We're not talking about the Geula. But Parsha Hamidaberes ala Knesset leMitzrayim, and the Knesset, the entry into Mitzrayim, is the entry into the Geula and into the takeover of the Geula. Another Medrash Acher Mavaya sheshmois hashvotim b'Parshoseinu bo l'tzayin shebnei Yisrael lo yishinu eshmom b'mahalach hagolet. It's one on the Medrash over there, a little bit further along in the Medrash over there, and it's also mentioned in the Tanchuma. The Medrash says over there that for 3 main reasons the Yidden were merited the Geula. And what were the 3 points? That they never changed their names. They always stuck to Jewish names. Yeah, they never changed their language. They always spoke Yiddish. I see you guys have to
you have to warm up.
Get a smile out of somebody around here. They spoke Yiddish the whole time, and also their garments. They were not meshana their clothes. So the Medrash says that one of the main factors that kept Yidden together in the terrible Golas and merited them to go out was they never changed their name. So therefore, according to that Medrash, there would be a good reason why we mention the names here and the going into the Golas, because through their names in the Golas, they merited the Geula. But says the Rebbe doesn't quite go for that, because that's like saying that the names are mentioned as a sibah, a reason why they left the Gola. But our Medrash says that their names are called on the name of the Geula itself. That they're actually called on the name of the Geula, not that their names are a reason why they eventually got out of the Gola. Yeah. So therefore the Rebbe says, Baal l'tzayin shebnei Yisrael lo yishinu eshmam b'mahalach haGola. V'lochein haim zochu l'geula, and therefore they had the merit of the Geula. Medrash zeh nitan lahavona, ki lefiv asibo, the reason la'azkor shmois hashvotim hi b'ktei l'tzayin raches hasiba. The actual cause or reason why they got out of the Golas. V'kach shachach b'nei Yisrael nigalu. Ulam ha'medrash ha'koidam mavaya sheshmois b'nei Yisrael kan heim al shem ha'geula. Well, like we began with the names mentioned here according to the first Medrash, because they are themselves referring to the Geula. And if you look in the Medrash, I looked it up, the Medrash brings down all the names of all the tribes, each one of them. And it shows how each of them refers to some posik or other talking about the Geula. Now the majority of them are talking about the Gula from Mitzrayim, the different psukim that are put in reference to the name. It's really amazing how the Medrash links it all together. And then when it comes to Yosef, it says that Yosef is mentioned in reference to the ultimate Gula, not the Gula from Mitzrayim, but the ultimate Gula, which will be, and there's a pasuk in Yeshaya, and over it says, Ki Yosef Hashem Eshenis Yodei. Hashem is going to come a second time with his great hand, and he's going to get together all the Yidden and take them out in the Gula Shlema. That's a pasuk in Yeshaya. Amen. So we see that in reference to Yosef, it's even referring to the Gula Shlema. Elohim Kain says the Rebbe, there's some essential inyan in the names themselves which indicates Geula, not a reason why they got out of the Gula. There's some inyan that actually refers directly to the Geula. So therefore he says, Yesera Mizu. Even more than that, Medrash Metzayin Shishmoi Shel Yosef. Oh, yeah, Lamashal, yeah, Mofia Khan Al Shema Geula Hashlema or Asida Love, the ultimate Geula, which is going to be when Moshe will come. Shenema Bayemahu Yosef. Hashem Sheinis Yodeh. Like we just quoted that passage. U'lecho'era ma kesher bein ha'kanisa leMitzrayim. The going into the Golos of Egypt. Hamasuperes b'parsha, which is told about in the parsha, the Geula Shlema. Mela connected with the going out of Egypt, I can understand. Or what's the connection with something that's only going to be thousands of years later? And yet, nonetheless, we see that Yosef's name is referring to that Geula. Vamena says that over, yeah, we have to understand, Gam Sorik Lovin, Ma'u HaHiruah Mikol Zeh, Eileno Koez. What can we learn at our particular period in history from all this? You know, that the Medrash says that the names are on the union of the Geula. Ella. What does that in come to teach us? Shehayirida leMitzrayim mahave la'amitos shel dova chelach echad mitahlich hageula. The Rebbe says a most amazing thing. He said that the going down into Golas was not a value in its own right. It wasn't a factor in its own right. No, the going down into Golas is all part of it's all part of the Geula. In other words, not just that you can't get a Geula if you don't have Golas. So it's like putting the cart before the horse. You have to first of all go into Golas in order to get a Geula. So don't go into Golas l'chatchila. No, it's not that. What the Rebbe means that the whole inyan of the Geula is being achieved by the Golas Mitzrayim. So he says that it's part of the whole in of the Geula. Hayirida, the etzem negativity of that, he says, Hina b'chitzoyin is bilvat. That's only the outside look at it. It looks to be a very negative thing. V'ilu b'pnimiyah, however, we will look deeper and we examine the inner factors involved, then yesh kan aschola shel hagula miMitzrayim v'shel hagula shlema. The whole inyan of going into the Golas as a pneumistic aspect to it, what that brings ultimately not only to the going out of Egypt, but ultimately to the Geula Shlema, which is going to be thousands of years later. So this is a very obviously tremendously deep inyan. How can you say that the Golas itself is a preparation for the Geula? I mean, you can say that if you're in Golas, you need a Geula. You have to get out of Golas. But to say that the Golas has in itself the beginning and the pneumis of the Golas is really the beginning of the whole tahalik, how they call it, the whole procedure of leading to the Geula. That's a very profound inyan. So we need to know, there's obviously a link factor, how they call it, like a key, swara in the middle, which links everything together. And that's what we're going to aim at in the Hemshech of the Sikha. So the Rebbe says, Lochein, HaMedrash Oimer Shebnei Yisrael Nikra'u Kan. They're going into Egypt, Al Shem HaGeula, because the going into Egypt itself is a beginning of the whole inner of the Geula. V'zehu tafkideinu ko'eh. That's our job now. Legaloi, that we have to reveal Bizman HaGolos as a Geula Amitis Vashleima. In other words, that even though we're in Golos, we have to reveal in the Golos, the Geula Amitis Vashleima, which means that you've got to show how the Golos is really bringing, and it's all part of leading to the Geula. And not just a Golos has to have a Geula, but the Golos itself is bringing us and arousing in us the whole Eden of the Geula.
Could we say this is a relation, like the relationship between Tohu and Tikkun?
Between Tohu and Tikkun. But, generally speaking, we could, but it would involve us in a long discussion, and I sort of can't get involved in that now. But ain't nothing, because in the Torah earlier this week, there's a mimer in the middle of it. There's quite a lot of mimers in this week's Torah. There's a whole mimer there where the Alter Rebbe talks about Tohu and Tikkun. Yeah. Knowing from Moshe Rabbeinu, the whole thing.
Another and more accurate analogy is in Bereshis. The entry of the light in the Kav is necessary. Can I do it?
What's he saying?
He says in Bereshis, he's quoting something in Bereshis.
The light came in the Kav, and there had to be a withdrawal to be stronger for the re-entry.
Right.
It's the same principle.
Right, I get the point, yeah. As Ramela says, the Rebbe, we've got to, being in the Golas, we've got to reveal how our whole life is the Gula Shlema, even though we're in the Golas. So that's quite a job. So how are we going to do that? And so this is not just the principle of live with the Geula, even though we haven't actually got the Geula yet, but to live with the Geula, it's even more than that. We're going to show that the actual function of a Yid, if he reacts properly to how he's in the Golas and he meets the challenges of the Golas the way it's meant to be, then he's creating every moment and every day, he's creating the Gula Shlema. Matai Niskarim B'Yetzias Mitzrayim. So therefore, says the Rebbe, in order to understand that, he writes over there in the Sikha that we have to understand a Mishnah, a very, what we'll call a well-known Mishnah, at the end of the first Perik of Masechta Brachos. And just by the way, this Mishnah is brought down in the Haggadah Shel Pesach. And we read this Mishnah as part of the Haggadah Shel Pesach, and it's brought down in the Gemara, Masechta Brachos itself, in Daf Yud Beis, Omid Beis. That's where the Medrash is, and there's a brief discussion on this Medrash in the Gemara. So he says, "A Mishnah Mesaperes, Oidas Rebbe Elazar ben Azariah." Now the Gemara, the Mishnah begins with the name Rebbe Elazar ben Azariah, and it says Rebbe Elazar ben Azariah said about himself that he is already like a man of 70 years old, and even though he's like a man of 70 years old, he never had the schus to find the raya in the Torah to oblige saying Krishma at night time. He can only not Krishma, Yetzias Mitzrayim, more exactly, the going out of Mitzrayim at night time. He can only find the days. And he never had the schus to do this, but Ben Zoyma, another Tana at the time, he said, I didn't manage, but Ben Zoyma did. He said, Ben Zoyma, he darshaned that you have to also say Yetzias Mitzrayim at night time, apart from day. And then he brings a verse, Leman tizker asheim tzeischo me'eretz Mitzrayim koil yemei chayecha. And so the Mishnah says like this, that Ben Zoma, he made a peerage, and he said, Yemei chayecha elu hayomim, that's the days. Koil Yemei chayecha comes to include something. So Koil Yemei chayecha lahovi halayla is that not only you have to mention the going out of Egypt by day, you also have to do it by night. That's what Rabbi Elazar ben Azariah tells about himself and Ben Zoma. And then he goes on, some people say it's all Rabbi Elazar ben Azariah talking. Or however, the Mishnah goes on, and it says the Chachomim came along and they said something else. And the Chachomim said, Koil Yemei chayecha elu, I'm sorry, Yemei chayecha elu hayomim v'halaras. That's Oilam hazeh, v'klal. Koil Yemei chayecha lahovi liyamoitza ha-Moshiach. That even when Mashiach will be here, nonetheless we'll still have to mention Yetzias Mitzrayim. And then the Gemara has a bit of a discussion about that, about the opinion of the Chachamim. Ben Zoma challenged the Chachamim about a certain point, and then the final opinion of the Gemara is that Ein Hanami, Liyosid Lovi means after Mashiach will come. After the Gula Shlema, we will still have to mention Mitzrayim, but for Derek they call it Tafel. The Gemara says the Ikar will be the Gula Shlema and the tremendous revelation that will be then, but Derek Tafel, and he called also, we will have to mention Yetzias Mitzrayim. And that's the opinion of the Chachamim. So that's basically the picture of the Mishnah, and that's how we bring it down in the Haggadah. So the Rebbe says like this, our Mishnah is a Peres Eidos Rabbi Elazar ben Azariah, and the Mishnah says, this is not written in the Mishnah, but this is brought down in the Gemara only later on, not in that sugya, but in another sugya which occurs in Daf Kof Ches Amud Beit. Over there the Gemara says this, Shebiyom boi minu oisei lanosi b'Yisrael, on the same day that Rabbi Elazar ben Azariah got elected to be the Nasi, and it's well known that in Eretz Yisrael there was like a huge yeshiva of all the Chachamim, and the Rosh Yeshiva over the whole yeshiva of all the Chachamim, he was called the Nasi. So Rabbi Elazar ben Azariah, even though he was a very young person, he was only, according to one opinion in the Yerushalmi, he was only 13 years old. We learn, the way we make the calculation in the Bavli is that he was 18 years old. Well, even 18 is not very much. And he was going to become the Nasi, of the whole yeshiva, of all the Chachamim and that. So he said to his wife, he's scared to take on the position because he doesn't have any white hairs in his beard, and since he doesn't have any white hairs, then all the people are going to hear him speaking in the authority of being the Nasi, and they're not going to listen to him because he's younger than everybody. So it's written that there occurred a nest, and according to the years of his life, so there were like 18 like little patches of white occurred in his beard. Yeah, and he said, I look like somebody that I'm already 70 years old, and I'm not. He said, but nonetheless, I didn't get the schuz to learn how you have to say Yetzias Mitzrayim B'Leilis. That's the basic picture at the background of the whole thing. So the Rebbe says that if you look carefully in that sugya over there, in Daf Kof Ches Amud Aleph, then it follows that this whole thing that Rabbi Elazar in our Mishnah here about Yetzias Mitzrayim, that's the first public discussion that he led in the Beis Medrash after he became Nasi. Yeah, so you know how he became Nasi. You know how he became Nasi? Rabbi Gamliel, he was the Nasi. And Rabbi Gamliel was the descendant of Rabbi Yehuda Nasi. He was, very, very great leader of all the Chachamim. As Rabbi Gamliel had an argument with Rabbi Yehoshua, about Tfilas Arvis Rishus, or not, it's all thing. And he got a little bit sort of sharp, Rabbi Gamliel with Rabbi Yeshua. So all the people said that's not, Martiyim, it shouldn't be like that. So they decided to, how to call it, fire, not the word fire, but they decided to cancel Rabbi Gamliel's position as Nasi. And they said, who's going to be the Nasi? Bin Kaimai. So they said, Rabbi Elazar ben Azariah. You follow? So the Rashi brings over there that Rabbi Elazar ben Azariah, he was a very rich man. He had a tremendous amount of riches that he'd inherited. And he's also a great Chacham. And he was the 10th generation from Ezra HaSefer, direct. He was a direct Einichel, 10 generations from Ezra HaSefer. And the Gemara says, in another place, that the Gemara says about Rabbi Elazar ben Azariah, that he looked like people somehow or another knew that his face was like Ezra. He looked like Ezra, and Ezra looked like Moshe Rabbeinu. So Rabbi Elazar ben Azariah's face was like Moshe Rabbeinu. So he's a really big time, Rabbi Elazar ben Azariah. So that's like the background to the whole Mishnah. So he says like this, Harei ani keben shivim shona. I'm like as if I was 70 years old. He's not. He's only 18. But he said, and I didn't have the schus that it should be said Yetzias Mitzrayim at night. Meaning, I didn't have the schus to bring the proof from where. Yeah. So he said, Ad Shebo ben Zayma, Ad Sheben Zayma, Lomad me, it's written Dorsha ben Zayma. Ad Sheben Zayma, Lomad me Aposuk, Yelaman Tizker, Eshem Tzeischel, me Eretz Mitzrayim, Koil Yamei Chayecha. And he learns from the word Koil, Shegam Balayla, historic Lahazkiya Zois. Ve'ilu Chachomim, the Chachomim, they differ with Ben Zayma, or they learn differently than him. There's a whole big discussion as to whether they really differ with him in the actual din. However, the Chachamim learned him Hamila Koil, Shegam B'Yamois HaMashiach, Yazkiru Es Yetzias Mitzrayim, Ubil Sheinam, and the way they express it in the Mishnah is Koil Yamei Chayecha Lahovi L'Yamois HaMashiach, that the expression Koil Yamei Chayecha, that is to bring to Yamois HaMashiach, meaning that we'll also have to mention Yetzias Mitzrayim when Mashiach comes. But he says it in a rather unusual way. He says, Lahovi L'Yamois HaMashiach. But the Rebbe is going to pay careful attention to that expression a bit later on. So the Rebbe says, V'kan tzorich lahovin. Is it okay that he's asleep? I hope everything's working. הכל מתבצע טוב. אז כאן צריך להבין, we need to understand, number one, מה הקשר בין משנה זו יהיה לאומרו? What is the connection between this Mishnah and the one who said it? Oimro means the one who said it, Rabbi Elazar ben Azariah. Yeah, base, l'tkufa bo nemro, yeah, tekufas nesiyah. That it was said at a very special moment, and a very special period, at the moment that he became the Nasi. So we have to understand what's the kesher with that Tavka. He said, and Gimel, yeah, la mishpa ashonim amuskoris b'mishnah shivim shona. Why did Rabbi Elazar make a whole stress that he was shivim shona? Mashma, or he was like somebody, he wasn't shivim shona b'poil, but he was like somebody, the Shivim Shona, that would tend to imply that there's some relevant value to the whole thing. That he says, I'm like as if I was Shivim Shona, meaning, I should have been able to do it, but I didn't have the schut. Right? Okay, Abiyah. So the Rebbe said, what's the explanation? And he says, Mishnah zu bo lelamdeinu matai tzorich lotzei mimitzrayim b'muvan ha'pnimi. In other words, he says the pnimistic aim of this Mishnah is not just to mention the actual words of going out of Mitzrayim. To mention the going out of Mitzrayim. There's no thing in our sages to mention something. When you mention something, then the kavanah is that you should live it over. You should remember it in a way that it becomes a living value. So therefore, the Muvan Pnimi of the Mishnah, which is dealing so intimately with this concept of going out of Egypt, is coming to teach us, what do we need, and how and when are we going to be able to get out of Mitzrayim? Under what circumstance? So he says, Lo tzeis mi'hagbolas haguf u'liskasher el HaKadosh Baruch Hu. What he said, what does it mean, in simple terms, to go out of Mitzrayim, to every Jew, wherever he is, to go out of Mitzrayim? What does it mean? So it's put down in the Kisvei Arizal, and the Rebbe mentions it briefly, but they don't bring it here. It's put down in the Kisvei Arizal that the Ika Inyan of Yetzias Mitzrayim in Ruchnias is when you reveal through your understanding, you reveal into the Midas, and the Midas become bottled to the Kedusha, and conducted by the brain. The brain conducts the Midas, and the brain goes down through the Meita Hagoron, the strait of the throat, and it goes through that into the heart. Then that's Yetzias Mitzrayim. As they state in Kisvei Arizal. So what is the Biyah Bezeh? What it means is, Mitzrayim means Meita, and a Meita means the thing that holds you back. And it called a strait, or a straight jacket, to use the expression, that it holds you back. It can limit you and forces you into a certain form of behavior. So who does that? Your midas. Your emotions are very deeply rooted in a person, that if he's not careful, he's run by his emotions and not by his mind. If you run by your emotions and not by your mind, then you're in Golus. That's the emes of Golus. What does it mean getting out? That you make your mind come down through the Meita Hagoron. That's like a form of Mitzrayim, and it has to come out into the Midas, and you have to be a different person with your whole emotional situation through your mind, through your moira. You follow? And the Arizal says that is the emes of going out of Egypt. But that's quite a piece of work, because if we examine life in a general way, we see that we are very much imprisoned by our midas. We're very much governed, and we do everything, and we react to situations and everything without thinking clearly and without guiding ourselves, only by our moya. And it's written that in the Meita Hagorin, there's the three main ministers that Pari had that are mentioned in Bereshit. There was the Sahar Tabochim, the minister of the slaughterers, and then there was the Sahar Oifim, the minister of the bakery, and then there was the Sahar Mashkim, the one who was to pour out the mashkim for Pari. So those three people work in the Meita Hagorin. So what is the Sa'at Tabochim? He slaughters behemoths, so he takes out blood out of things and cools them down. So there's a very interesting power in your throat that's very much like a Molech. He's very much bordering on the whole concept of a Molech. And whenever you get sort of a bit enthused by something in Kedusha, what that indicates the Indian of blood is warmth. What does he do? He cuts the throat of that, and all the blood just drips out. And so you say, oh yes, this is a great Indian, it's really great, but what can I do? I'm just a balabos. I'm not one of these big people. I just have to be happy with my limited situation. You follow? That's one. And the Sar Oivim is the other way around. The Sar Oivim gets you baked, he gets you all hot about the wrong things. You get all hot about things that, would have been better if you hadn't got so hot about them. And particularly, you have to keep up with all the latest, and you have to be in things, you have to know, and all these inyanim, that's the Sar Oivim. And the Sar Mashkim, certainly when you drink, that's like the idea of tainum. So the Sar Mashkim, he comes along and tells you what it should be mitaneg, where your tainug should really be. And he says, it's very good, it's very healthy and very proper for a person to have a lot of taivas hachila. When he eats, that has to be the big tainug, the whole meiser of Amira. That's what happens, that the moich tries to say something, but it runs into these three gimel and never gets to the midas. So the midas just do what the gimel sari pari tells them, and you're in a sort of a dichotomy. In your mind you think one thing, but when it comes to life in general, you're something else. That is Mitzrayim. That's the Yemas of Mitzrayim. Yetzias Mitzrayim means that the moya comes down and governs over the heart and guides and leads the midas. So that's what the Rebbe says, the moving apnimi, the going out of Mitzrayim is lotzeis mihagbolas aguf ulishkasher el HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Instead of being bound up to the values of the world and what the world tells you, you become bound up and makusha to HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Because how are you going to get out of all that? Only if you go for the Eivashter. You try somehow or another to link yourself with Elokus. And that's Chabad. That's the whole thing of Chabad, to link you with Elokus. And that's what's written in the Kisvei Arizal. I don't know about the piece about Chabad, that's maybe not written. But however, so the Rebbe says, by Yomim. What does that mean? He said, Kaloima bezman boi ma'ir ha'or elokis borosh atorik latzei to Mitzrayim. When everything's good, and it's lichti, Yomim means that when light is shining, and that means that somehow ha'or elokis gets through to you in your life. Either you learn something very stirring, or some hashgacha prati is amazing, or you realize all of a sudden just how much you have to be thankful to Hashem and everything, and all of a sudden there was like a radiation of Elokus in your life. Well, that's called day. So you have to go out of your hagboleth. You say, well, the Avis has been so kind to me and he's done such amazing things in my life, I have to get out of my hagboleth. So the Rebbe said that's obvious and that's pretty easy. And everybody agrees with that. Rebbe Elazar ben Azariah, Ben Zoma, the Chachamim, everybody holds that way. He said, however, Achidah shel Ben Zoma, what does Ben Zoma add? A new idea? He said, Shadova zeh tzorik li'aseh af beleilos, to get out of all your limitations of your midas, and have your moyah governing yourself. You got to do that when it's hard, not when it's easy, not when things are already very illuminated in your life and things are going well. That's easy going. When do you have to go out of Egypt? At the night time. בזמן שבו יגבר חושך הגולה. So the Rebbe said, what does nighttime represent? Nighttime represents the Isgabrus of the Golas. Not just being in Golas, but Golas becomes a whole value. And you, as it were, you go along with the Golas, and you accept it, and you say, what can we do, we're in the Golas. He said, Dafki there, that's where you got to get out of all your Golas. That's Benzema. He said, Ve'ilu ha'chachomim mechadshim du'a pele. He said, the Chachomim HaMechad is an even more amazing idea. And they say that Gam b'yamois HaMashiach, even after Mashiach has come, Bohem tiyeh gula shleima, but that'll be a complete gula and the whole world will be just gila elakus. Yaskiru Gam is geulas Mitzrayim. He also have to mention Mitzrayim, which was thousands of years before, and is not comparable in its greatness to the going out of, to the final Geula. So therefore he says, Geula Mitzrayim Lamrish, Shehoyeso Geula Chelchis Bilvat. It wasn't a complete and utter Geula, Mitzrayim. Why? Because afterward there was other goddess followed. It was a complete Geula in the fact that all Yidden got out. But after that, there's been a lot of other Golas ever since. Mashiach, the Gula Shlema, there's not going to be any more Golas after that. So he said, Kivan she is tears Mitzrayim, Yehi's Chila es a musik, shall Geula, Koila ha Geula Shlema. He said, since the whole Indian of tears Mitzrayim began the whole concept of Geula, then it's also koiled in itself, the Gula Shlema. Ain't no phenomenon, the Gula Shlema will be incomparably greater. Over what began the whole idea that a man has to get out of Meitzorim, of limitations and of Golas, but that was Yetzias Mitzrayim. Therefore, but Derek Tofil, nonetheless, definitely, even when Moshiach is here, we're going to mention the greatness of going out of Egypt. And it's like the Medrash says, that kolas choles koshes. All beginnings are very difficult. The beginning of bringing into the world the whole concept of Geula in a very broad way was Yetzias Mitzrayim. It presented the opening up of the whole pipeline of the union of Geula. And therefore, it's koidel in itself, even the union of the Gula Shlema, even though the Gula Shlema will be much greater and much more cloddy and much more perfect than what Yetzias Mitzrayim was. And therefore, the Alter Rebbe in Torah in Pasha Truma, the Alter Rebbe's got a maimah where he says that there are two levels, one what we call Iskafia and what we call Isabcha. And the difference between them is that Iskafia is when you're still working to fight the Nefesh HaBamis and to bring him to surrender, as it were. Ishabcha means that you reverse the whole Ra, Latoyu, and that's the Madriga of Tzaddikim. So he said, when Moshiach will come, and there'll be the Gula Shlema, particularly after Tchias Amazim, the whole of it will be Ishabcha. He said, nonetheless, we're going to mention the greatness of Iskafia even then. Because people will realize that Iskafia had a tremendous milah to it. That you didn't have the whole perfection of the world. You didn't have all the amazing lights and that you're going to have at the time of the Gula Shlema. Yet nonetheless you fought the Nefesh HaBamis and you didn't give in to him. That milah of fighting, despite the fact you don't have all the ultimate greatness, well, that's going to be mentioned even when Mashiach will come. And just by the way, I don't know if everybody's tuned in, but the Rebbe Rashab said, it's well known, that after Mashiach will come, Mevetzel Benken not the Golas take. When Mashiach will come, we'll sort of have what they call it, Gaguim, for the days of the Gola.
Gaguim?
Yeah, so everybody started to jump out on stuff. And they say, how can that possibly be? When Mashiach will be here, we'll sort of, you know, how do you call it? How do you say beckons in English? We'll sort of, we'll be able, what's the word, not melancholy, what's the word?
Hankering or yearning?
Huh?
Hankering or yearning?
Yeah, we'll sort of remember affectionately the time of the Golas. So the answer is that in the time of the Golas there was Avodah. You had to struggle, there had to be a war. And when Mashiach will come, everything's just going to be laid on. And remember, that's going to be remembered even at the time of Mashiach. So therefore the Rebbe says, it comes to us that there's an amazing value in the Gulas Mitzrayim, that it's like there's a word, the beginning and the opening of the whole concept of Gula. There's a very great milah and advantage in Yetzias Mitzrayim, שבוי הויס המיילה של כפיה שרה. כפיה שרה זה סקפיה. מה שהקים בגאולה שלמה, שעוז יבטל הרע לחלוטין, יספחה, in other words. So that milah of the war against and the fighting to bring the Yetzer Hara to surrender, that's always going to be remembered. That's never going to be lost. And so the Rebbe says, that's a sign that hidden in everything that happened in Yetzias Mitzrayim is really like the seeds of the Geula Shlema, which means that even though they're incomparable in their greatness, but there's something in Yetzias Mitzrayim which opens up and leads us to the Geula Shlema. Omnam, he said, the truth is that Oz Yadgishu Be'ikas Geula Shlema. That's emes. The Ikka is everybody's going to be happy with the Geula Shlema, and that's going to be the principal busyness of everybody. Avu Yaskiru Gamas Yetzias Mitzrayim. And they will also mention, nonetheless, that going out of Mitzrayim, Kedei Lahadgish Shagiula Ashlema, that the ultimate Geula with Moshiach, Choderes Gam Lamatzovim Bohem Yeshnam Hagbolas. K'moi betkupas Hagbolas v'Haggeula eina chelik nifrad me'tekupa zu. So the Rebbe says that what this whole inyan of the Chachamim that we're going to mention and value what we had in the time of Mitzrayim, even when Mashiach will come, he said that comes to show us that really there's something powerful in the going out of Mitzrayim, that it gives us the koyach that even though we're in Golos and we still haven't actually been zeicher to, but nonetheless we'll be able to go out of our Golos, we're able to get out of our limitation, even though we're in the Golos, and we're, as it were, moving continuously in our work in the Golos towards the Geula, which means that the Geula is not something separate from the Golos. It's not that you got two things. I got a Golos, and then later I'm going to be released from the Golos. The Golos is a time where I'm preparing and working the whole time for the Geula. And he said that koyach comes from the going out of Egypt. The Yetzias Mitzrayim gives us that koyach, that even though we're in the Golos, we can still be looking forward and working the whole time for the Geula. That's the shitta of the Chachamim, that koyel yamei chayecha lahovil yamei zama ashir, that all the days of your life, even though you might still be in Golos, you have to be working towards Moshiach. So he says, Yetzias Mitzrayim hoyas a geula bilti mushlemas. And he said the going out of Egypt wasn't a complete and utter, how do you call it, geula, perfected geula. Ve'ilu b'yameis Mashiach ti'eh geula mushlemas. It'll be an absolute perfect geula. He said, a chidush b'divrei Chachamim he, or the chidush that the Chachamim mentioned is she'zachiras Yetzias Mitzrayim hayoim that today when we mention the going out of Mitzrayim, not just that we remember we went out of Mitzrayim, but we remember that we got a koyah to get out of the Golus altogether into the Gula Shlema. Where do we get that koyah from? From Yetzias Mit, from the going out of Egypt. We have that koyah. Yet therefore it follows that Gam Bizman HaGolus Trichim Lizkor Yelahaknis, to put into our lives Ulahovi Es Yemois HaMashiach. That's a very profound Indian. The Rebbe is saying that everything began with the Gula from Mitzrayim, so that even though you are in Golus, it's not a perfect Gula, it's still another Golus, but that gives you the power, because it's like at the beginning of the Gula Shlema. It's the first Gula, it's the beginning and the opening of all the Gulas. Or merely hidden inside us the power to reach the ultimate Gula, which means that even though you're in the Golus, you're not really. You're not really in the Golus, but you're working with tremendous intensity towards the Gula Shlema. And that's Koil Yemei Chayecha. Every day of your life has to be that way. Of a merit follows that now we can sort of get some idea what the Rebbe is hinting at with that medrash that we began, that when they went into Mitzrayim, they already mentioning names, and these names refer to the Gula Shlema even Yosef, not just the Gula from Mitzrayim, because it's all one in here. That when you went into Golus, they knew that their job is to remember every day that they're going to go out. And that's being in Golus is only in order to work for and prepare for the Gula Shlema. And that's something what you guys mentioned before, the whole idea of Toyo and Tikkun are also in a similar way. The reason the Eibusha made a Toyo, and he didn't really want the Toyo, because he wanted to get to Tikkun. But how do you get to Tikkun? That you didn't have to come in the middle and make Tikkun. So the same thing here, the Golus is like a sort of a Toyo, but you're not supposed to be in the Toyo. You're supposed to be working to make the Toyo into Tikkun. And the Eibusha gave you that power by taking you one time out of the Toyo, in a pretty complete way, but not an absolute.
The big picture. The big picture.
Yeah. It's an amazing, it's such a deep concept. It's very sort of delicate and amazing, this whole principle. Of Amira, the Rebbe now goes on to say, what's it got to do with Rebbe Elazar ben Azariah? He was the one who says it. So the Rebbe says, כאיש נובין מדוע משנה זו נאמר דווקא ביום שבו האמינו את רב אלעזר בן עזריה לנשיא. He said, now we'll understand why this Mishnah was dealt with in the Beis HaMedrash on the day that Rabbi Elazar ben Azariah became the Nasi. That's what we bring from the other sugya on Daf Kofet. So he says, a tafkid shel Nasi. The leader of a Jewish people had to kill the emissary Nasi. Who do you think that meant? Right? He said, a tafkid shel Nasi ba'am Yisrael, hu lechaber es hamatzav boy am Yisrael notud kerega, matzav galusi. He said that is the main task, is to join up the matzav, the situation of the Golus that they're in right now. To bring it to the Indian of Geula. A Nasi is a person that he doesn't want to leave his flock in the Golus. And remember, his whole Indian is to take the matzah of the Golus and to join it up with the Indian of the Geula. Well, that's Beklal, the Indian of Yetzias Mitzrayim. Geula Shleima Befrat, Yemoisama or Mashiach. He has to work through Yetzias Mitzrayim towards bringing to the Gula Shlema. All of Ligraim Lekak, it's upon him to cause. Shegam Bizman HaGolus Yuchel Kol Yehudi, that even though he might still be in a time of Golus, that every Jew should be able to be Lisreimem, he should be able to elevate himself, mimatzav hagolus, from the situation of the Golas, the point of a Nasi is to give Yidden the power that even though they're in the Golas, they're not really. They're in the Golas, but they're elevating themselves towards the end of the Gula. He said, that's the whole tafkid of a Nasi. And so therefore he says, it's amazing. So the Rebbe Lochain, yeah, b'yoyis Nasi, yeah, as soon as Rabbi Elazar ben Azariah became Nasi, the first sugya that he dealt with in the base of Medrash was, Yisasek, Rabbi Elazar ben Azariah bekach, shemazkirim yetzias Mitzrayim b'leilai, that even though you're in the Golas, as it were, you're in the inner of Geula. I Mitzrayim, or Mitzrayim is the beginning of the Geula Shleima. So he said, that's all we never know. See, no, you guys, I don't know what we do with you fellas. I mean, this is absolutely mind-blowing. Yeah. So this is the union of the Emes of Nasi. He's got to bring you that you say, we want Moshiach. No. Even though I might be still at this moment in the Golas, I don't recognize them. We are not prepared to accept the Golas as a value. Why? Because the Nasi doesn't let you. Yeah, so he says, "V'zehu kam hakesher lekach sherav Elona ben Azariah ha'oz keben shivim shana." He was like as if he were 70. Or emasi shu hoya ben shmoine esrei b'vad. He was only 18 at the time. And there's one opinion in the Yerushalmi that he was only 30. Yeah, Abu Bishel Kvod Hanesiyas, because he had to have the honor in front of all the other Chachamim. In the Nasiyas, Tzomchu boy Bo'er Knes, that grew into his beard by way of a miracle 18 lines of white hairs in his beard. Yeah, but he looked as if he was already 70. He said, Ki kamus hazman hanidreshet b'kdei lazachikes ashiva midas. Like we said, that's the ikka going out of Mitzrayim. Is you're given 70 years to work at your midas. What sort of midas? He says that shivas are midas are bahamiyas, the way they are, just ordinary. Unfortunately, they happen to be a little bit animal-like. So he said, and to come to a level where you can already see divinity, all that is, you're given 70 years. That takes you approximately 70 years. Hofach Rabbi Elazar liyos Nasi. Davke, when he looked like he was 70, and he got a nes that he achieved all of that in a couple of days or a few hours, instead of having to go through the whole 70 years. Yeah, so he said, Hofach Rabbi Elazar liyos Nasi, v'davke oz nitan lo yakoyach shegam b'matzav hagolas, gam b'matzav galusi. Matzav Shalayla, what that is the night time, Nitan Latzeis Mitzrayim, V'gam Lo Yagi Gula Shleima, and even to come to the Gula Shleima, because the whole India of Mitzrayim was to lead and to bring anyway to the Gula Shleima. Of Amera, that's the Rebbe says the most amazing thing. He says, Akoya Glasa Zois, the power to do that, Imarumas Bishmoi, that's indicated in the name of Rabbi Elazar ben Azariah. So he said, what is his name? Keil Azar, Hashem is going to help or has helped. And Azariah, ben Azariah also means the Abish has helped. But it's in a different name, Yud Kei Azar or Keil Azar. Amir said, Rabbi Elazar ben Azariah, he's from all sides. He is divine assistance. the Nazis got it all set up from both sides. He is the Avish will help from all. So what does the Rebbe teach us? The Rebbe teaches us that don't worry, the Avish will fit it all. It's all going to be good. The Avish is helping from this side and from this side. Says Kalema, Shu Mikabel Ezra Miyuchedes Me'akodesh Baruch Hu, a very special type of help from the Eibishter, to go out from Mitzrayim Gam Bizman HaKol. Just think carefully what the Rebbe has done to us. The Rebbe has made us aware and living and cooking and shraying on the Gula Shlema, even though Moshiach hasn't actually come yet. We're living and we're shraying. We want him right now, and why? Because we're holding by his value. So he says, "Gemara Misaperet Shebaisa Yom Bein Nishman Rebbe Lozer Lanosi Silku Eshema HaPesach Shel HaBeis HaMedrash." Rabbi Gamliel, that he was the Rabbi Gamliel, he was the Nasi before Rabbi Lona Biznari. Now Rabbi Gamliel, he had a shitter, and the Gemara tells over there that he would only let into the Beis HaMedrash to learn with the Chachamim somebody that he's Toichai Kabari, that he's in a Ruchnistic estate, and what he looked like and what he did, were exactly, identical one with the other. In other words, what's the old saying in English? That his face, well, how do you say, I've forgotten to say, somebody, there's a saying in English.
You can't judge a book by its cover.
He's outside and he's inside with the same. I've forgotten the expression. So Rebbe Gamliel, he didn't let into the Beis HaMedrash anybody except somebody who was in such a matter. And the Gemara brings over there in Daf Kov Chet that there were only a relatively small number of people in the Beis HaMedrash when Rabbi Gamliel was the Nasi. However, on the day that they took Rabbi Gamliel down from the Messias, and Rabbi Elazar ben Azariah was told that he's going to be the Nasi, the first thing Rabbi Elazar ben Azariah said, he said, I'd like you to get rid of this shema on the doorway, that he checks everybody with a spiritual, radiator or radar to see if they're really holding how they should. He said, we're going to open the door of the Beis HaMedrash without a shema. No guard. Anybody who wants to learn Torah can come in. So it's written on that day that there was Nisrabu Safsolim Bebeis HaMedrash. And there are two opinions. One opinion says that they had to bring in 400 more forms, they call it benches, for people to sit on. And there's another opinion that they bring 700. Just imagine that, you bring 700 forms, just how many people would be flowing into the Beis HaMedrash. In other words, Rabbi Elazar ben Azariah, he had another shitta. Because he's a kale from both sides. Azarika is also the Eivishter house. Kale is also the Eivishter house. Rabbi Elazar has got divine help from all sides, as therefore he can take anybody on. He can allow anybody in, and his shining light of Torah, that will elevate all of them in and bring them that they will also be Toichei Kabare. In other words, not that you have to wait first of all for him to be Toichei Kabare. No, bring him to Rabbi Elazar ben Azariah, and he'll anyway become Toichei Kabare. I see all you guys. I don't need to give you a little bit of a
L'chaim.
Something or other. You realize what's going on here. Avamela says the Rebbe, Rabbi Gamliel, Shoya Anosi HaKoidim Lo Yiskim Lahaknis Talmidim Lo Yitovim. Ve'ilu Rabbi Elazar Omar Mi Sheroitze Leikones Yikones. And that was the first thing he did. Rabbi Gamliel hoya b'matzav shel Yemos HaMashiach. Yeah, Rabbi Gamliel was a very great man. He was already holding by Mashiach b'poyel, and he said, "Matzav boy ain't ra. There's no evil in Yemos HaMashiach." So he said, anybody who's got any shaykhs with evil, even in a daggistic way, he has no place in my base of medrash. That's the whole message of the Seeker, that even though Mashiach hasn't come b'poel mamish, we are living with Mashiach, and the Laman Tizka Shem Tizka Meretz Mitzrayim is the highest and the living, with Mashiach as Yeh Nitan Lahagir Lamatzav Shel Geula Shleima. That's going to bring the Geula Shleima. V'af Ram Gamliel Hiskimei Moyli Ahamikaim. Now that's a very politic in its own right. It's just an amazing fact. Just take a man like Rabbi Gamliel. He was from Rebbe. He was a direct descendant. He was an Enik from Rebbe Yehuda Nossi, and the Ganser. He was, from Beis David and everything. And they put him down from being the Nossi. And they put Rabbi Elazar ben Azariah, incomparably younger than him and everything, in his place. What normally would you do? You'd be offended. And you would say, good, let him run the base of medrash, and you'd find yourself a small base of medrash of your own. So what's written in the Gemara? That even though all that happened to Rabbi Gamliel, and Rabbi Elazar ben Azariah didn't hold with him, and all these other people flooded into the base of medrash, nonetheless, Rabbi Gamliel came and sat and listened to Rabbi Elazar ben Azariah. Now just imagine that. So the Rebbe said, that is because Rabbi Gamliel realized, and he came to the realization that that is an effective way. We have to be Mashiach senior is to be Makar of all the Natzutzes. Not just those who can really hold on the Madrega for Mashiach right now, but to elevate and to assist everybody to come to live with Mashiach, even though he has, for some a very puzzling reason, not arrived mamish at this moment. That is the message of the Sikha, and towards the end, the Rebbe gets onto the Rambam. You'll have to forgive me running up, but the main point that the Rebbe makes at the end, that the Rambam was also pink like that. The goddess where the Rambam went into Mitzrayim was a terrible goddess. He was in the court of the Sultan, the Rambam, and he was the doctor, and the Rambam, hours per day, he looked after all these Goyim patients, patching up this one and fixing this one and everything. And he also with the Sultan, he had to look after him personally, and he was a dissipate, and so he had to keep himself. He had to live a life of dissipation, and yet at the same time he had to keep himself healthy because he's supposed to run the country. He had to busy himself with things of the government. So the Rambam had the task of fixing him up almost every day, that he should be able to live through the day and look as if even though in the night time he did everything and he ruined himself, and the next day had to patch him up again. And the Rambam had all that on his mind. And nonetheless, Davki in Mitzrayim, that's where he wrote the famous big Rambam. He called the Mishnah Torah, was written Davki in Mitzrayim. So the Rebbe says, Im Kain, the Rambam, even though he was in the most tremendous scholars, the Rambam was from Ma'ila Mizeh altogether, and he was the one who wrote all the laws of Moshiach. Right? And he wrote these letters to Taman, to other places, arousing about the of Moshiach, and now's the time, and everything. The famous Igeres Taman that the Rambam wrote. And the Rebbe said, you can see that the Rambam was a tremendous Mishrachiz, powerful, despite the fact that he was in the most terrible Gola. So that's the whole principle that we're learning here. that despite your being in the union of the gods, you have to live with the Gula Shema, and that is the remez in the words of Yetzias Mitzrayim. Good. Okay, so that's where we're holding now, and Be'ez Hashem will say L'chaim in honor of the Rambam. We have